So, various generations in our society today have been defined by different names, birth year, and ages. And apparently, the older generations hold the stereotype that the Gen Zs are lazy, self obsessed, and entitled. But where did this reputation come from? Are the Gen Zs truly lazy? On today's episode of Life Unscripted, we'll be looking at all of that and more. I'm Tracy Dominic. Do stick around. All right. Thank you once again for coming on the show. The beautiful Chidima and Emmanuel.
Good to be here.
Thank
Wow,
you.
it's really great to be sitting in the midst of a handsome gentleman and a beautiful lady. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
So we've been talking about the Gen Z, and today we decided to make it official to actually discuss it on camera. You know, just for the purpose of clarity. Some persons might not know what is Gen Z. You know, when they hear Gen Z, I think when I was making my research, I think Oxford Dictionary defines Gen Z as a group of people who are born between the late 1990s and the early 2010s. So let's say, for example, between 1997, 95 to 2010, 2012.
Okay.
So this group of people are also perceived to be very addicted to the internet, social media, and you know, they have this I don't care attitude. I don't want stress, you know, that kind of lifestyle. So and despite being born in an era where there is strong technology and so many opportunities, the older generation still perceive them as being lazy. So it has become a stereotype. So Linda, let me start with you. What do you think about this stereotype?
I think the stereotype is unfounded. Let's just start with that. Because in as much as they are doing anything online or on social media or on internet generally, it requires energy, it requires mental activity. And if you should do that thing, you should undertake that task. You see, it takes a lot of planning, organization, time, dedication, and activity level to even get those things carried out. It could not be physical, it could also be mental, but it takes a lot. So to say someone that is putting in all those energy is lazy is not right at all. It's not.
Okay, so you don't think they are lazy as
They are
the
not
older
lazy.
generation perceive them to
We're on, even the millennials, the Gen Zs, we are not lazy, but we just need to respect the pattern or the format we use in carrying out our own task. It's different from the way they would carry theirs out, but that does not make ours any less efficient or effective, if I should use that word. It doesn't make it any less. It still delivers. The result is still 100 over 100, if you ask me. So they shouldn't call us lazy. They should change that stereotype.
Okay, Emmanuel, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I think that to the strong points that you have made, I don't want to think that they are lazy people, so to speak, but I just think that they don't have the kind of base, the kind of solidity that the age before them have. Remember that they are called Gen Z. The Z is Zoomer. Is for Zoom, and it just simply means that they are always on the internet. They are the internet babies. They were born in the age of the internet. They live on the internet. Their lifestyle, everything they do is seen on the internet. Where, matter of fact, the internet is designed now around their activities. They are either live streaming, or they are on a status somewhere, or they are on Instagram this or YouTube this, or their entire life is on the internet. So there is no base outside of the internet. That is the downside. They could be doing a lot of good stuff, whatever they call good stuff. I mean, everybody is a skate maker now. Whatever you do now, you're making skates. It's a Gen Z mindset. It's just skates. Everything is just about the internet. Whilst that is good, the challenge is that they don't have that foundation, that solid culture that solid, principled-based lifestyle that the generation that gave birth to the generation that gave birth to them have. If they can put that together, they will go so far ahead of the generations before them, because they have the advantage of a very fast-paced world. If they can put a base to that, their ideas, they will go very far.
So aside being in the internet era, what do you think inspired them the most? Because so many of them are so energetic and, you know, ready to go at any time.
So what inspires Gen Z basically is pop culture.
Okay.
Basically, pop culture. Everything they do is about pop culture. How I look, how I feel, how I dress, what happens around. Don't worry, you're going to respond. No,
because
chill.
I disagree.
Chill,
I disagree.
Chill. You're going to respond.
Okay.
But you see, if you define pop culture, you understand that what drives this generation that we're discussing is pop culture. It's what they see on E. It's what they see on the internet. It's how to recreate another trend, how to dance like Kelly, or how to do the next thing on. It is pop culture. And I am not saying pop culture is a bad thing. Like, I'm not saying it's not. Pop culture is, as a matter of fact, pop culture is a multi-billion-dollar culture. If you can tap into it. So what we're doing, how are they, let me not say how are we, you know, because how are they tapping into the power of pop culture to go just beyond making videos and being on the internet to making actual profits?
Right.
Put that together and then you can give me an answer.
I have
a different
two things that he said that I really disagree with.
Okay.
So you said we don't have that structure, but I think
it's not good to be structured.
I think the structure you're talking about is a structure based on rigidity. That is the structure of the millennials. Rigidity, that's just it. If you check it out, their actions, their words, what they do, what they don't do, the type of work they do, everything is based on rigidity. And that is one thing that the Gen Zs do not allow or do not want, is that rigidity. And then you said that the motivation is pop culture. It's not pop culture. The motivation is money and freedom. Freedom, money, any of the two. But they all come down to the same thing. We're used to seeing our parents who are millennials work for years and end up with nothing. They are tired, they are sick, they have tons of chemicals in their system because of the type of work they do, and they're tired, they don't have anything. We're still suffering. We still have to like put them on our backs. But then this Gen Z, what we're trying to do is to create a system whereby we are free at a certain age. We are free, we work on ourselves, we improve ourselves, we grow, we are the best selves we can be, and yet not be a burden to our future generation. We are retiring early with a plan, a financial plan, so that when
I think I know where she's coming from.
Yeah, so that when the other generation comes, we don't have to be a burden to them. They don't have to stress. They just start living their own lives, not worrying about us, which is something
Let's
the millennials
do
don't
a demography. See, it's not talk, you know. It's not
What
just
is the
talk.
reality?
Let's get the figures. Let's go online or wherever, find out the figures. Those who are doing the most. You said your motivation is what?
Money and freedom.
And freedom.
Yes.
See, when I say your motivation is pop culture,
It's not.
You didn't quite understand what it is. It's pop culture at the base. That is why I said, if you can get, pop culture is a multi-billion-dollar culture. Remember I said that?
Yeah, you did.
I mean, there is money. At the end of the day, there is money in it. But what is pop? Pop is what is trending.
But that's why I think you're wrong.
Listen.
The foundation is money. The means of achieving it is the pop
you see,
culture,
the
not
problem,
the other way around.
No. The problem with this generation is the craze for money. Can you see where the problem is?
So we are back to the same thing.
The-
It's
Yeah,
the money
you were
and the
insinuating
freedom.
that what drives them is what's
pop culture.
trending.
But it's not. It's just
Right, that
the
was what you
end
said.
to a means.
At the end of the day, you may say whatever you say, you think, which is cool, you know, because our people say, where that's cool. But at the end of the day, what drives this generation, I would insist, is pop culture. If you go to the US or to the West, they take pop culture seriously. Television is part of pop culture. Music,
Okay.
film, At the end of the day, they make money out of it, right? Because it is pop culture. One of the youngest billionaires in the world is a young girl, is a Gen Z girl, one of the Kardashians. What is inspiring her money and everything is pop culture, is television, is fashion, is makeup.
Okay, so
now those people have been able to transcend from just the feeling to make videos to make money off of it, right?
So we are back to what she said, money and freedom.
I think we are just saying the
You're
same thing,
the
but
same
we are
thing.
disagreeing.
We're not saying the
ourselves.
same thing.
Actually.
For me, I'm saying that
Because
the number one is money. The way to that money is pop culture.
Yes. Okay.
You are saying that it's pop
It's
culture,
pop
but the
culture,
driving
then
force
money,
is
right?
not. There is not pop culture. The driving force is money. But
And that's
where
a
can you
problem.
find that money?
you see,
Through the
Easily
pop culture,
through the pop
Through
culture.
pop culture.
Okay, for instance, let's just
Okay.
use Nigeria as a study case or a case study. You will notice that despite everything that we do, okay, the system, which industry is moving? Still that pop culture.
Yeah.
If you go into other
Music.
systems, they don't give the Gen Zs a level playing ground or a level field to rise from. It is more difficult. It is more regimented by our government. But if you look at the pop culture or the entertainment industry, it doesn't have that much of restrictions. It's somewhere that your talent and your pure effort can take you to the sky. Which is why it seems as if we are dominating in that industry. I'm not looking at a place whereby we have to follow a bureaucratic way of thinking or a bureaucratic way of acting.
by the
That's
way, who is
difference.
dominating?
That's the difference.
Gen Zs are not dominating the entertainment industry.
Of course we are.
Movies, for instance.
We are.
No, you're
we
not.
Are, we are. We are.
Listen, from the marketers to the producers to the directors to the leads, you cannot count how many Gen Zs are there who are the
You
ones
mean in
making
the movie industry?
in the move
Okay.
to start with.
Okay.
To start with.
In any industry.
So we're no, you mentioned that. I'm just giving clarity.
I'm
that,
also trying to give clarity on that.
Listen, nobody can give you anything in this country or anywhere in the world. You take what you want, and it is what it is, right?
But you agree with me that taking what you want has a weight to it, has a time to it, has a certain amount of effort to it. I'm saying that when you come into this industry, it's not like you have to be given, it has to be given to you. But I'm saying that what you need to put together to get that is not the same with what you need to put together with other industries. And now, if we're being practical, there is no organization, there is no marketing firm, there is no business, there is nothing that you would go to and you would not find that the brain or one of the brains behind that brand, behind that organization, behind that success, there is a Gen Z. Because they always want to, who is the market, who is the audience? Gen Zs. Everything you're doing now, you're doing it, even it has got to the point that architects, they build to what? To satisfy the taste of the Gen Zs. So anything you are doing, your market, your audience is the Gen Zs. Who do you need to figure things out for you and package everything to look the way a Gen Z wants it to? It's also a Gen Z. So it might not be the face, but we are the brain. That's it.
Okay.
We're making progress.
So moving away from that, I'm sure you have a sibling or possibly a friend who is a Gen Z.
Absolutely.
So how do you feel about their mentality, their behavior when it comes to life?
I think that I see them and I see light.
Okay.
Okay, I see strength, but strength and light needs character. Needs to be built upon principle. Otherwise, it doesn't take anything before it's blown everywhere. I have nephews. I have cousins who are, as a matter of fact, I look at what they do on the internet sometimes and I'm wondering, how come I don't know this? But they know it. They can very easily find their way around this thing. And I'm saying, oh, this is so cool. Now, how do you take this from just knowledge to profit? They don't know. Apart from maybe just doing a few things, making skits, trying to make money off of TikTok and the rest of it, they don't really know how to convert these things to capital. I've been with agencies and the biggest of them. I've seen businesses, industries go from big agencies in advertising to these younger people to do advertising for them. They've broken the threshold of traditional advertising or traditional marketing.
Of course.
And it has helped, right?
Yeah.
Now, how do these younger people take their skills, take their knowledge, take their capacity and translate it into real, tangible, measurable profits? That is where I think that we then come in to say, your skill is good, like my nephews, like I'm doing for my nephews who are really very good with. My nephew can tell you, uncle, I'm going to trend you first thing tomorrow morning, and tomorrow morning I'm on the trending board of Twitter. How do you do it?
So if they have all of these things, where do you think the lazy reputation is coming from? Because the older generation, obviously,
because of what
they
they
are
do.
lazy.
Because you see, perception. I teach this in brand classes. The modern truth is perception. It's not truth. Your truth does not matter.
Yes.
It is what I perceive of you
That matters.
that matters. So we go on the internet and we see them begging for urgent 2K. You see?
Data, airtime.
We see them begging for airtime.
Yeah.
We want to do giveaways. They are all over Twitter. They are all over Instagram. They are all over Facebook. Sending account details and asking for giveaways and that alone begins to give room for that stereotype of laziness. It is just, you know, what it is. Let's take this town, for instance. I come into this town and there is a particular street in this town. In the night, the girls I see on these streets are all Gen Zs. 98% of them are Gen Zs. Prowling midnight. Prowling.
No, we're not talking about the working girls
I'm not.
right now.
They are working
They're
girls.
working,
They're working class.
No, they are
See
called
what I'm
working
saying?
girls, but
They are working girls.
that's not the topic of our discussion.
I'm giving you an instance. Why
I
they
get what you're
are
saying.
all over the place. The perception of them being, you know, all over the place, asking and making demands, and some of them even have the effrontery to make demands or blackmail you into demands, and
That's the
it
entitlement.
gives that entitlement mentality. It then gives this perception of laziness. In truth, they may not be. There are some of them creating really amazing content, really amazing products, creating them. But then the other ones are so all over the place. It gives room for people to say they are a lazy generation. But maybe they are not actually altogether a lazy generation,
The
but there is
vast
more that they need
majority.
to do. Yes.
Okay, he
Actually,
said
the
something
thing-
about.
But I wanted to give it in a different way.
Okay.
Okay, for instance, now you say, I'm a social media manager or I'm a website developer. And you know that means you're practically on your phone all the time. You have to respond to DMs, you have to post, you have to do this, you have to follow trends, you have to think of strategies, organize your strategies, plan. But I'm always on my phone because anything I'm doing is on my phone. I'm replying to DMs on my phone, I'm creating designs on my phone. Anything I'm doing is on my phone. And then one day is there looking, how many hours has this girl been on her phone? One was like, she has been on that phone since morning. I was like, these children, they are lazy.
Yeah.
They are already telling me lazy. Not mind it, I've been working. And that's the difference. That's why I say, I agree with him when he said that your truth can be perceived in any way. It can be your truth, but if that's not how it is perceived, it is not your truth. If you don't carry your bag, your system, your phone to maybe a particular environment and say, oh, I'm working, they will always think you're not working.
Yes.
So that is where the perception comes from. It comes from the fact that we don't have to submit to the traditional ways of going to an office. You
work.
can be in your room and you are
Work.
working. You can lie down on your bed and you are seriously working.
Or even accept a definition from
Yes.
the older generation.
They don't agree. They feel you have to be in an office, seated on your laptop. That's when we know you're
Okay,
working.
so speaking
right?
of the internet and social media, do you think the internet, social media has contributed negatively or positively in relation to the Gen Zs being with their own life and all of that?
Okay. If you're my auntie or you're my mom listening to this, no, my mom, you know I love you, but my aunties or uncles listening, I'm sorry, I just have to say this. So, the social media has contributed positively and negatively. But then, the negative aspect, I will blame it on the millennials. I will blame it on the parents. Because when you've trained your child with a certain way, groom that person in a particular way, there are some things that person will not be subject to. For instance, maybe I'm on social media and it's a trend that you have to beg for urgent 2K. But my mom has raised me in such a way that I have to be independent. she's raised in such a way that I should not depend on someone to give me urgent 2K. I should think of ways to earn my own urgent 2K by myself. You see, I'm a Gen Z. The other person online asking for 2K is also a Gen Z. What differentiates us is the home training. It has negative, but you can be exposed to that negative impacts of it, but not be influenced by it. That is where the training comes in. So if your child is a Gen Z, like I said earlier, I'm sorry. If your child is a Gen Z and that person's attitude is bad, or that person has got most or mainly the bad aspects of social media, you have yourself to blame.
Okay, so you're saying it's based on the home training. It has nothing to do with social
It
media.
doesn't have to do with social media. If you have trained your child to be influenced by pressure, if you're training your child, because that's one of the things we do, you just push that person to the world and expect that person to know it all. You have not prepared that person in any way. If you have trained a person to know how to function under pressure, there are some things that will not affect you. For me, for instance, I go on social media, I go on Instagram, and I see things. I see this cute bag. Oh my God, I love this bag. But it's 30K. I know that if I should waste it, I don't want to say waste. If I should use that 30K on that bag for the rest of the month, I'm probably going to be broke. Okay. I'm not going to have the liberty of doing the important things in my life. What will I do? I will remove myself. If I see that, okay, you're the kind of person, I have you as my friend, but your WhatsApp status is something that oppresses me. Let me use that word, oppress, because that's what we say. You're oppressing me. I would mute you. That is what my mom has taught me. Be contented with what you have.
So you would mute the person without the person necessarily doing wrong.
I'm muting you
right?
because I just don't want to be influenced. I know.
Just to protect your
sanity. Just to protect myself and my sanity.
Okay.
So that is where.
Do you agree with her that social media does not really have any influence? It's just the home training. Do you agree with her on that?
One of the biggest problems you have, or one of the biggest challenges you have, is to transfer responsibility. Take responsibility. Don't transfer responsibility to parents. Parents have so much to battle. If you take all of the wrongs and transfer it to you, you'll be unfair. They have so much to deal with. They are dealing with Gen Z children's issues. Just being a Gen Z is, you come with your baggages and they have to deal with all of that. And you want them to also take responsibility for how you behave on the internet.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No, you're saying
I'm saying they
takes
should
home
take
training.
responsibility.
You're transferring
for your personality, for some things that comes with your personality.
How do you want your parent to take? I mean, is this even fair?
It is. It is. It's one of their basic responsibility.
To do what? Really?
To train me. To bring me up. I mean, what I don't know my left, I don't know my right. It is your responsibility. How will you bring me into this world and allow me to find myself?
These are parents who are juggling between jobs to keep you in school. These are parents who are doing everything to provide for you, do the bit they can. And you want them to also train you how to manage yourself on the internet that you know how to use the most.
It's not on the internet. It's what happens in life that transcends to the internet. If I can't stand some things in real life, I won't be able to stand it on social media. It transcends.
Teach the kids.
The parents,
the kids will be influenced by whatever is going
there's no
on
amount
in
of
the world,
training.
There is a level of training that
it can never be enough.
Yes, but then you have given your own part.
So what are you saying that? Are you saying that the large number of Gen Zs that are on the internet being influenced and misbehaving and doing all of the things they are doing are all as a result of bad parenting?
If we have any teacher here and you call that person, ask that person, please, anytime you try to discipline a child, what is the repercussion of it? The person will tell you that the next day, that person's mom or dad will come to the school and ask you, how dare you talk to my child this way? How dare you do this to my child? That is what we are facing. In the olden days, there was a saying that one person gives birth to a child, but the child is a community child.
Oh, you're going back.
It's a community.
You're going back to the olden days.
Thing. But like now, it's not that way.
Okay.
Which is still the way they have trained us.
All right. So the point is that the internet has done its good and it's bad to this Gen Z people. And I think that the good can be magnified, can be emphasized.
Yeah.
Let's limit the negativity, because negativity, when you keep espousing on them, they keep getting bigger and bigger, and then before you know it, they become hydra-headed. The good thing is that they are doing the most they can do. They are flung into a generation that is driven by a particular system. That is the internet. It's a different world. It's not the world that we grew in. When I was in the secondary school, there was no internet. When I was in the university, there was no internet. There was no social media. So we weren't flung into that world. They live in that world. It is their reality. So we can do better by helping their livelihood on that. It's like a different world, right? It's a different world altogether. And they have life, they breathe in it, they communicate in it. In fact, they can afford not to have friends physically and have friends virtually. They will have friends that they've never seen all their lives physically, but they are best of friends on the internet. So it's a new world. So we need to begin to deal with the realities of those worlds, what they are dealing with, how they are dealing with bullies in that world, how they are dealing with oppressors, right, in that world. She has just said how she can deal with one, mute the person. I do that too, even at this age. I look at an account that just shares a lot of different crazy stuff, spam and mute. I don't have space in my mind for craziness.
Well, you said the parents mustn't have the whole responsibility. Yes, at some point our parents have tried actually to train us in the way we should go, right? And really, sometimes they are tired. And sometimes they don't really keep up with this home training. They can't continue because they are aging and they are tired.
Sometimes they don't even know what to do to please you.
And again, yes, and then there is social media. I think home training actually, helps when a child goes into the world and see all of these things happening. Home training helps because the child is like, okay, I know where I'm coming from. This is what is going on. I'm just going to discipline myself. It helps. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, a lot of things are going on, a lot, and I think home training plays a huge part. Home training, the discipline is there, and you're able to actually understand what you truly want. Like what she said, parents is there, social media is there. Just take the good and leave the bad. That's just it.
We've come back to where I started. I said, having a background of principle, of solid foundation is how to maneuver, meander this world. If you don't have it, then it's a problem. I don't know how the mother that is selling a car that does not know any other thing can train you other than this basic principle in life. Don't do this, be like this, be this way, be that way. But then they go out and then they meet trendy friends who wear good stuff, who do all the things they do, and then they want to be like them. They want to kind of, at some point, let me just, at some point, then they begin to. So that principle is so important. You can't say it's as an old-fashioned.
No, it never gets old.
It transcends. It transcends.
So we're rounding up now. So this Gen Z talk, go finish now.
It can't.
So let's just round it up.
Be exhausted.
Okay, so lastly, what's the last word you can give to the Gen Zs out there? To survive in such society like this?
Get a foundation. Don't ever say your parents' training is old school, is old-fashioned. Take that training. You can rework it. You can model it to suit your world, but ensure that the basic principles of goodness, of kindness, kindness is lacking. Now, people just want to do whatever they do. They don't care. Kindness. Get it. Love, kindness. Respect. 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 Respect.
I was expecting to say this respect a long time ago.
Training, respect.
But he didn't say it.
You. What's the last word?
Okay, what I would say is
respect.
It's okay now.
This respect paying you. It's paying you.
Respect.
It's paying you. Please, if you see him, respect him. It's paying him. Don't disrespect him again.
Respect.
But okay, my last word or last words is, if you're a Gen Z, yes, own your truth, but also know that your truth might not be the actual truth. It can be the truth in your eyes, but it's not the actual truth. You can be doing something and you think, yes, this is the perfect way of doing, this is the right way, but there are other ways of doing that thing, and there are so many other ways to achieve that same result. So just don't stay stuck on my truth.
Exactly.
Explore other truths and agree when you are wrong. That's just all I have to say.
Okay, Chidima, thank you so much. Emmanuel, thank you so much for coming on the show. And to you viewers, of course, thank you for watching. And of course, if you're not a Gen Z and you're watching this, you can share the video to your Gen Z friends and your Gen Z families. This would really help them. My name is still Tracy Dominic. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. This is Life Unscripted on MyColorTV. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.